Okay, so I just finished watching Encanto for the second time, and I have some thoughts. Um, Mostly, I feel like the powers given, like, the powers that are given are what the family needs at the time that the gifts are being given. If that makes sense. I hope it does because it makes sense to me, so I'm not going to explain it further. Like, because, okay, Abuela, her husband dies, and then she gets the miracle, the candle thing, and then she like that, the house and the village, right? That's what happens for Abuela, and like how does she find out that the kids get powers when they're like 5? You know, when does that conversation like who tells her that? Where does she learn that from? Does the does the house tell her it? I don't know. But so then the triplets, Abuela's 3 children, get their gifts, and I think their gifts are like what the family needs. But I can't figure out one of them. I can't figure it out, and maybe I'm stupid, but is I feel like Bruno's gift is so that they'll never be caught off guard by any harm that comes to the family, like how they were with the thing that made them like flee their home and be attacked, and like the dad dies, you know? Like Bruno's like psychic abilities allows him to see what's going to happen. So they are never in the dark about what's to come ever again. Yeah. So that they can be safe. And then Julieta, she has the ability to heal. And she really encapsulates this in her like character and everything. She's like, I don't know. She like even like when she's comforting Mirabelle, she's like, because Mirabelle's like, you just healed me with a arepa con queso. And she's like, no, I healed you with the love from my daughter and blah, blah, blah. You know, like yeah. And then there's Peppa. And I don't see how having the weather connected to your emotions is like a thing that's like an obvious reason for it to be there, you know? Because, like, if the family is ever in trouble, Bruno will tell us that we're about to be in trouble. Julieta will fix us if we get hurt. And if Peppa gets really upset, it's gonna rain. Like, I'm not sure at all. But yeah. Okay, so and then another thing that I feel like is not really expressly expressed in just watching the movie, you'd have to like look into it, is the ages and birth order of the grandkids. Um, so Isabella is the oldest. She was the first of the grandkids, I believe. It's not completely clear, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. Um, because Isabella and Dolores are the same age. They're both 21. They're the same age. And so they would have had their things within a year of each other. And I'm assuming that Isabella went first. And since she's the first of the new generation, she's the first grandkid to get a gift, that she felt she needed to be perfect, so she got a gift that had to do with being perfect. Yeah. And then Dolores, having just seen her cousin be granted the power of perfection, it's like she probably pulled into herself and was really nervous about finding out her power, and because how could she live up to what Isabella got? And so she gets the power to hear really well, I guess, hear everything all the time, which makes her be quiet, I guess, through, I'm assuming, how her family reacts to her gift causes her to be extra quiet and timid, because she's hearing everything. She knows everyone's secrets. And she just has a constant stream of everyone's everything. She hears it. So she knows everything about everyone. So I'm sure from the time she got this gift, people have been telling her, don't tell people, don't talk about that, don't, so she just doesn't say much of anything, because she's not sure what she can and can't say, because she knows everything, but what information is for everyone and what is just, and then, so they're both 21, Isabella and Dolores. And then after them, a couple years later, 2 or 3 years later, is Luisa, who is the middle child, I guess, technically, with how the ages are. She's kind of in the middle. And so I'm not sure exactly what caused it for her to be strong, which I guess that makes sense, because I was that way when I was the middle. That sounds weird, but I feel like when everyone else was upset about something, I'd just sort of shut down, and I'd just be like, okay, how do we, what are we gonna do? There's no time to feel feelings, just what are we gonna do to fix this? I don't know. But so I think she was strong because the family needed strength in the most literal way possible, I guess. And then after Luisa was Camilo, and Camilo and Mirabelle are the same age. They're both 15. So they would have got their powers within a year of each other as well. And at that point, since at this point in time, they are the babies of the family, because Antonio's not even born yet. He's not even close to existing at all. So, because, okay, from the time Mirabelle doesn't get a gift to when Antonio's getting his gift, 10 years have passed. So there were 5 years, and then Antonio was born, and then 5 more years until he gets his gift. So with Camilo and Mirabelle being the babies, I think they were probably both really unsure of where they fit in to the family because, like, they see their older siblings and cousins having their own place in the family, and everyone has a place in the family. So they're just like, what else does this family, what else do we need? How can we improve on what we already have? So Camillo, he gets the gift of shape-shifting. And I think it's because he doesn't know who he's supposed to be, what role he plays in the family, how he is supposed to help. So he shapeshifts into anyone who can help. And that's shown a few times during the movie where he's like they're trying to hang a banner and they're like, oh, we need another this guy. She's like, oh, and he helps put up the banner. And like, he's here to do, he's here to help anyone who needs a second pair of hands. Then, whenever we get to Mirabelle, and she's probably just like 2 months ago, probably, she saw Camillo get this weird, vague gift. So she's panicked about it. She's the baby. There are no kids after her at this point in time. She is the youngest. And there's no proof of this, but I believe that there were no plans to have another child. And either Peppa or Julieta, I don't think that either of them were really planning on having another child. So it was Mirabelle, you know? Well, like, okay, when people have kids, they tend to have them within years of each other. Like, maybe, 2 years apart. Maybe, the biggest gap between children that's, a normal number is, 4 years. Because at that point, you have, a kid in high school, a kid in middle school, a kid in elementary school. You know, 4 years apart is, a decent amount of time between kids. But, there definitely are families who, have a kid, and then 10, 11 years later, they have another kid. And that's wild. It's weird. Why are you doing that? But I think after Mirabelle didn't get a gift, she was the youngest, and they were like, well, she doesn't have a gift. And so I think that they were like, okay, let's have another grandkid. Because by this point, Bruno's already left. Bruno left the night that Mirabelle didn't get a gift. He was gone. And everyone hated him anyway. So there's no chance of him giving us any grandkids, you know? So the fate of the family was on Peppa. Well, Peppa or Julieta, but it had to be Peppa. It had to be Peppa, because Peppa only had 2 kids. And if Julieta had another kid after Mirabelle didn't get a gift, that would be so fucked up. You know, because you'd be like, oh, this one was defective, let's have a new one. That sucks. I'm glad that's not what happened. But Peppa had another kid, and Antonio's 5, right? I think they're 5 or 6 when they get their gift. He's 5. His closest in age cousin is 15. So there's... And his closest in age sibling is 15. That's a 10-year gap between kids. And after well, there was a 7-year gap, 6 or 7-year gap between Dolores and Camillo. I guess it's not, but still, that's a ridiculous, gap between children. Yeah, and the abuela never really got an explanation of the magic or the miracle, you know? She was just sort of making assumptions and just going with what works. So I think that she thinks or thought that their job as the family madrigal was to be fruitful and multiply. And like, how are ages? Yeah, because I feel like them having, let me think for a second. Because, okay, the first, well, I guess it'd be like the second generation, it only has 3 people in it. 3 magical madrigals. Then they each have some. And I don't know. And it's like the more, cause, okay, they're not royalty, but they kind of are. You know, they are what's holding this village together. They are what makes everything possible. And Abuela feels that it's her responsibility to use the magic that she's been given. Well, she hasn't been given any magic, but she has a magic house and keeps pooping out magic kids. So she, I guess, she's in control of it, or at least like in charge of how we use it as a family. And she never got an explanation of how things are supposed to work. Which, what I think how it works is the family, I hate to speak in cliches, but like, united we stand, divided we fall, which is literally the house cracks and falls whenever they're all upset with each other, you know? But it's just like, the magic comes from the family. Like, the family being a family. And everyone doing their part as a family, not doing what they have to because they have to. Because that's not a family. That's working at an Amazon warehouse. Like, and I think when it came to Mirabelle to get her powers, I do think had she not wiped off her hands on her dress, which she does do, and I thought it would be brought up later in the movie. It never is brought back up. But she touches the candle, she wipes her hands on her dress, and then she touches the doorknob. And then the door just disappears. She gets nothing. Good day, sir. But I feel like, had she not wiped off her hands, she would have been given something, but it wouldn't have been super awesome and great. It would have been super confusing, like Camilo's was. Because Camilo doesn't know who he is or what he has to be, so he gets to be everyone. So I think Mirabelle's power would have been something along those lines of, like, you don't really need, what happened? She doesn't get a power, because she doesn't need a power. Like, they have so much, like, and she's happy, and she's content, you know, and she's loved by her family in that moment. There's nothing that they need. Except the one thing they do need, maybe, is a new HOH, a new head of household, because Abuela's getting up there in years. But it's never really explained. Whatever. But yeah. And I will say, like, next time I watch it, I'll look into this more. But I'm pretty sure the only 2 people who actually, like, talk to the house and the house responds are Abuela and Mirabelle, who don't have powers. But my question there is, does the house react to the husbands, the non-magic husbands? Because, like, they don't have magic, but, like, I don't know. There's an idea in there somewhere. But then, okay, so Antonio, who's a little tiny baby and the purest thing on this earth, and I love him, he gets the gift to talk to animals. And I think this makes sense because I think he probably knew from the time he was born. He knew what his purpose was, why he was brought into existence. His entire life, he knew that everyone got a power except Mirabelle. And one day he'll go through that, and it's possible that he might not get a power. And his job is to get a power. He's there to get a power. That's the only reason he exists. And he can't talk to his family about this. The only family member he's even really close to is Mirabelle because they share the nursery. And they talk because he doesn't have a power yet. She never got a power, so there's that connection there. And he can't talk to his parents or his other cousins or anything about the powers and the stress it is of knowing he has to get a power. He has to. And he can't talk to anyone in his family, so he can talk to animals now. So, and that's what he needed, is someone to talk to. So that's what he got. And I don't know. I really hope this movie gets sequels or a series. I would accept a Disney Junior series. What other show got a series like that? Maybe not The Lion Guard, but Rapunzel. Rapunzel had one. The Tangled series. That one was good. But, I could see them making into a series, or how they did with Frozen. Every now and then they'd just, release a short, which is just a 30-minute movie that they play in front of Coco, and everyone's confused as to why they're watching Frozen when they came to watch Coco. They could do some of those, and then 8 years from now, another Encanto movie where things make sense. Maybe they're older now. Maybe they're having the new generation of madrigals. Lots of stories. I want Bruno to make up with the lady whose fish died. It seems like there was something going on between them, and it needs to be resolved. Also, I would suggest Bruno marrying me, and instead of children, we just play with the rats all the time. That is a good idea. I like that. I will also accept marrying Luisa. I'd marry any of these people. They're all hot as hell. Are you kidding me? Even, Antonio. Give it 15 years. He's gonna be cute. Look at his dad and his mom. There's no way that kid's not gonna be adorable as hell. I don't remember where I was going with this. Now I'm just talking about the cuteness of the characters. I don't know, but the most useful power is Bruno's. And I feel like maybe the house gave Bruno this really crazy power, and then he was after seeing how everything went, the house was just maybe we pull back a bit. Maybe this kid can make flowers. This kid can pick up heavy stuff. This one can just hear really, really well. There's not... I don't know. I don't know.